By the end of 2019 and early 2020, the COVID-19 epidemic broke out and spread globally. The epidemic has a huge impact on the world economy. Many businesses were in a difficult situation and facing the risk of bankruptcy. Facing the difficulties of businesses during the epidemic period, businessmen need new perspectives and ways to change themselves in their business activities, minimize losses from COVID-19, at the same time creating opportunities for companies to prevent risk in the future. In our program Sharing Vietnam today, financial expert Ryan Trần Ngọc Dũng from the US will provide an overview of this situation. Please stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 Netflix channel. And today we're gonna have a conversation with Dr. Trần Ngọc Dũng from United States. And he is currently a financial expert managing and owning two big companies. And today he's gonna share with us his insight on business management during Corona pandemic. Hello, Mr. Ngọc Dũng, and welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone.
So my first question is, what is the definition of business management? And what is your opinion about the business management in the situation of the pandemic in different business groups?
Business governance, business management is actually the two different terms. Business governance refers more to the investment side, how you evaluate the effectiveness of the investment. But business management is more or less about operation, about operating a business. So in terms of business management during the COVID-19, but I'll talk about what business management is first. For me, as an investor of the two businesses, including the Fish Art Museum, and also in terms of service industry, but also I also invest in a manufacturing a factory of fish sauce, which is more or less a manufacturing sector. So in terms of business management for both sectors like that, the key principles for business management is all about the three areas. First is about how you justify your investment to make it a profitable and sustainable investment. The second thing is about managing the resource, allocating the resource to make things run, to make your business model run profitably. And the third thing is how you can grow it fast enough into the market. I mean the product innovation and your go-to-market strategy. So the three things: investment, your resource for operation, and your product-to-market strategies, for me, are the three key things for any business manager in order to run a business effectively and profitably.
And which group of businesses faces the most difficulties?
With the perspective of the current pandemic, COVID-19, luckily, I was in both manufacturing sector and service sector. For me, the sector that suffered the most from the pandemic is service sector. Tourism, other services like retail are all suffering. And lots of businesses have to shut down, have to close 80-90% to 100%. And there's no revenue at all during this period. But in manufacturing sector is more or less can survive. Actually, like my fish sauce production, we can still produce, we can still distribute, and because those are the essential product. Depends on the sector, but most of the service sector will suffer, and the production is more or less okay. But there will be also the effect of social distancing. People afraid of going outside and even purchase essential things. So the manufacturing sectors also suffer, but less than the service one.
There are thousands of businesses today facing the risk of bankruptcy. So what do they need to do to survive this pandemic?
For shop or restaurant, some of them trying to diversify their services using home delivery. But even though many of them are trying, but as far as I know, because many of my friends are investing founder of their businesses, as far as I know, they're trying a lot, but the business, the revenue from home delivery or direct delivery are just very quite minimal, maybe from 10 to 20% of the normal business revenue. So it's just it's just kind of a one-time struggling, not give them the total solution for business survival at this time. We will need to wait for the pandemic, or we will need to wait for the crisis to be over in order to get back to the normal operation.
The COVID-19 brought about common difficulties to the economy, in which small and medium enterprises are directly affected in the way the supply chain is disrupted to maintain production activities. On the one hand, goods cannot be sold or exported. However, in a more optimistic view, COVID-19 is both difficult and a new driving force for economic development after a period of stagnation, when businesses are trying to find a way to overcome a difficult time. After COVID-19, the economy entered a bustling period to promptly provide enough goods for the market. At the same time, after going through difficult times, small and medium-sized enterprises will have a great lesson in changing business methods and thinking, finding new directions for development.
So, what is a corporate restructuring?
The concept of corporate restructuring is mentioned for a long time, but it's actually more applicable in this time, in the crisis time, because if a business maintain the normal way of doing the normal way of like before, then there are two things very risky. You can never cope with your competitors, and you will find it very hard to cope with difficult situation. The environmental factors like the pandemic crisis. So there are two times, two situations where a business need to look at restructuring. The first scenario is the scenario where your competitors surpassing you very fast. Then you have to look into your business to see whether or not your business model is still working or not, why your competitors are doing very well. The second scenario is that the environmental factors. The business environment is changing. Everyone is going online. For example, the traditional distribution network are shrinking, are closing down. So then you will need to restructure your business to cope with the changes in environmental factors. So that's the pressure of one business to really need to look at the business restructuring. And business restructuring is more or less about you there are also like three things. You need to restructure from the very strategic level, whether or not you need to invest in one or another area. Then the second thing is restructuring in terms of restructuring the operation model, whether or not you will need to keep the task allocation the way it is, and the third thing is restructuring in terms of human resource, whether or not you are using the same the current skill set of the people that you are having, or you need to employ the new one, the new resource. So there are different things of restructuring, but at this time being, restructuring is something that every business need to look at, because that will help them to really improve themselves in terms of coping with the uncertain environment like this.
And what are your predictions about the restoration of the economies in the near future?
I would say many of my friends in my community who also think that this year, 2020, we need to readjust our target for this year for sure. So everyone, the sole purpose of doing business for this year will be more or less about survival. But I will have a more positive consideration for the next 2 years, like 2021 and 2022. The next 2 years will be I would think that we will be the whole business environment will be much better, and the Vietnamese business will perform much better as well, because I guess Vietnam will be one of the few countries can go out of the pandemic soonest compared to other markets, other countries, other businesses. So the business operating in Vietnam will benefit from those. So this year we will maintain. I guess every business will maintain the level of growth like last year. That will be already very good. But for the next 2 years, we will grow very fast, and I guess we will need to consider, because the pandemic already happened. So the only thing we can do now is we prepare for the post-pandemic operation and business investment. So this is the opportunity. Crisis will be over, but after crisis, there will always there will be opportunity. So we need to seize those opportunities, and because Vietnam will be the first country, one of the few countries go out of the pandemic very soon. So the Vietnamese business need to seize that opportunity to really perform much better and relatively better than businesses in other countries. So this is the opportunity for us to grow. So I guess all the business, and I wish all the Vietnamese business all the best luck, and all of us will need to prepare to seize those good opportunities to come for us, even in the domestic market in Vietnam, or even both international markets as well.
Thank you very much for your sharing.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for watching. See you next time.